Unemployment is on the rise. Many people are losing their jobs. A lot of job roles are shrinking, but there are also job roles that are emerging right now because there is a shift happening in the industry. So how can you make sure that you are still in demand in the industry? In this video, we will cover 5 tech domains where opportunities are being created right now. In each of these domains, I will cover the job roles that you should be exploring and the technical skills that you should be learning in each of these roles. Now you can explore all of these and then pursue the one whichever interests you the most. Now see, in these current times, you have two options. Either you can be scared and you can just give up on the industry and complain that your time is over, or you can upskill and continue to be in demand in the industry. Trust me, as someone who has done it, it is definitely possible, and especially for software developers out of these 5 domains, I will highly recommend that the first one is very easy to transition and learn. So without wasting any time, let's get started. AI application development. A few companies created a few LLMs and changed the entire industry, and now almost every company wants to use these LLMs and make their products and services better. So almost every company is either pushing their employees to upskill or they are looking for engineers who can build using AI. So this domain is not about building LLMs or models, but it is about building using AI, or in short, development using AI. Since most of you are developers already, this is very easy for you to learn, and honestly this should be very interesting as well to you. So this domain is the most important one, and this itself I have divided into 5 subdomains so that you can understand it in depth. For roles like AI application engineers, agent developers, context engineering is extremely important. See, earlier we used to write logic in our code. Now that can be easily done by our models, but it has become real engineering to make sure that our AI is able to respond accurately to us using the data that we have. So how do we build the correct environment for that? Let me explain it to you. Like for example, there are many real LLMs out there. So which one do you use and how do you better its accuracy and performance? There are LLM ensemble methods out there just for this. Also, within context engineering, also there is prompt engineering. How do you structure your prompts? Yes, prompt engineering is part of context engineering. Memory management. How much memory do you include in your prompts? Token management. Also data retrieval. So what is the relevant data? How do you fetch it? How do you send it to your LLM? How much data do you send, right? So RAG is an extremely important part over here, building your RAG pipelines. Earlier there used to be very simple RAG pipelines, but with time now there are many advanced RAGs also that have come into picture. So you should know the different chunking strategies, embeddings and all of this. So basically I am talking about system design of your production ready AI systems. For AI workflow engineers or agent architects, workflow orchestration is extremely important. See, AI systems are not just API calls, right? There are multiple agents working together. I've been repeatedly saying on the channel, multi-agent architecture is extremely important. And it is engineering to understand how do you make multiple agents work together. So under this comes your retry logic, your fallback strategies, your output validation, state management, human in the loop. There are many subtopics, and this is real engineering under workflow orchestration. Reliability and evaluation is important in any kind of system. Similarly, for AI systems also, we need AI QA engineers or AI reliability engineers. Let me explain in short like this. See, while using LLMs, you cannot write simple unit tests, right? Like it's not simple normal function that you can use for testing your LLMs. How do you even measure the accuracy? How do you track the hallucinations? What do you mean by performance over here? So building your testing pipelines, monitoring it comes under reliability and evaluation. And just like in other systems, security is extremely important in AI systems also. In fact, you must have heard of it that with AI now there are new kinds of risks. Like earlier we used to deal with SQL injection and now we deal with prompt injections. So how do you make sure that your sensitive information is not leaked? Agents are using different kinds of tools. So how do you build the guardrails around these tools? So it includes input validation, output filtering, very strict access control. So your AI security engineers are going to work on the guardrails and the security things. Cost optimization and observability is another very important part of any production AI system. See, AI is very powerful, but it is also expensive. With every request that you are making, you're spending money, you are consuming tokens, and with every retry, you are actually multiplying the cost and you are adding latency, right? So how do you control all of this? I know some of you must be thinking that why these 5 different subdomains? It all comes under one domain only, and yes, you are right. And this is such a fast growing space. People are still learning it. There are so many new strategies and techniques that are coming every day, especially for production ready AI systems. People are still adapting to it, right? But it is extremely important in AI systems that we learn these things, like how do we do token budgeting, how do we cache our responses, how do we, like when it comes to observability, how do you log all your prompts, how do you log your responses, how do you do tracing at every agent when you're using multi-agent architecture, right? So how do you observe where the latency is more? Can you control it? Can you make it better? So the entire, all the 5 subdomains together come under AI application development. So I hope now everything is clear. Just how application is development is there, security is there, observability is there. Similarly, same things are there in AI systems also, just that now there are new kinds of risks, new kinds of challenges to be taken care of. I hope these subdomains together are now making sense to you. See, the main topics that are there in the non-AI systems and the AI systems are still the same. It's security, cost optimization, observability, system design, and that is why I said it will be very easy for software engineers, software developers to transition to AI application development. It's just that the kind of problems and the techniques, the solutions will be slightly different. Like for example, cost optimization. In non-AI systems, where do we optimize the cost? Like when we are using external APIs, when we are using cloud services, you optimize your AWS bills, right? Now you're using agents. So of course you need to do cost optimization when you're using agents, right? Another example that I gave you was SQL injection. Now you're dealing with prompt injection. Like when we deal with microservices, we take care of the fallback strategies, the retries and all of that, right? Here also now you're using multiple agents together. So you have to have different architectures, system design, you have to take care of the security and things like that. So the main topics are same, it's just that we need to learn the different solutions, the techniques to deal with these different kind of problems that we are going to face. Before we move ahead, I would like to take a minute over here to remind you that I teach a lot of AI related topics on this channel, and I am known to keep the explanations very simple and intuitive. Plus, this is of course absolutely free for you, so please do consider subscribing and sharing the content with your friends. It would mean so much to me. It will really motivate me to keep on creating more and more quality content. Plus, if you're planning to make your learning journey even more structured, faster, easier, and if you want to learn with me live where I can clear your doubts, then please do check out Educosys, where I have AI bootcamps, I have in-depth AI courses, and I also teach other software engineering topics. I have a project-based course which is HLD, HLD plus MERN plus DevOps. I also help with interview prep, so I have LLD, HLD, DSA courses. You can check out the feedback of our students on the site. Their LinkedIn profiles is also tagged so that you know that the feedback is genuine. And we also provide certificates. The recordings are available for lifetime, and of course you can get the courses reimbursed by your company. A lot of our professionals do that because the companies are really pushing their professionals, their employees to learn AI, so you can get the course reimbursed, so it will be absolutely free for you. If you have any other queries, you can reach out to our team over here, and for now let's continue with the second domain. Data engineering is a huge domain which is very rapidly picking up. I have seen massive hiring happening for the roles of ML data engineers, AI data engineers in various companies, because data is the foundation of any AI system. If you have good data pipelines, you're basically assuring, controlling the quality, the accuracy of your AI systems. So let me quickly tell you, what do data engineers do? What are the technical skills that they have? AI systems deal with huge amount of data, and data engineers are supposed to take care of data extraction and preparation. Like for example, while extracting the data from a particular DB, they are supposed to write many different kinds of queries for different databases, right? Convert the data to a desirable format. Now, cleaning pre-processing also involves so many steps. Now, you may need to say, remove the duplicates, remove the sensitive information. You may need to clean the data, structure it in a particular format, normalize the data to a particular range. Now, sometimes suppose you're preparing your data for a RAG. So you're supposed to chunk your data into chunks. So how big the chunk should be, what should be the overlap in the chunk so that the context is not lost. There are many little things that are involved when you're dealing with data. Suppose you're preparing your data for fine tuning. Now your entire fine-tuning process depends on your data itself. So you have to make sure that there is no noise, your data is of high quality. So this itself is huge engineering. And whenever you're dealing with data, there's also governance and compliance involved. So you have to basically create audit trails, access controls, and things like that. Our next domain is model engineering and custom AI. Now, this is where engineers need to understand the internals of LLMs and different model architectures that are out there. Think of it as this is where engineering meets research, because every day there is research going on, there are models coming up with different architectures, right? And the first thing that I would like to cover over here is a huge industry trend that is going on right now. See, a few months ago, everyone talked about how big the LLMs are that are being launched by the big companies, billions of parameters, trillions of parameters. But now there is a huge demand for AI to be able to run on edge devices, on small devices. Can you run AI on your mobile phone? So now, of course, there is a demand for engineers to be able to adapt smaller models. As you can imagine, smaller models have constraints of battery, memory, latency, right, compute. So because you have so many constraints involved, there are different techniques. Engineers need to understand model distillation, which I have covered on this channel. Also, quantization is a very important topic that engineers need to understand, which I have again covered when I have covered fine-tuning. So you might have heard of LoRa, QLoRa. There is quantization involved. So engineers need to be able to understand different model architectures, model compression, small models basically. And yes, model engineering involves fine-tuning, because firstly, most of the companies are not going to train the model from scratch, right? There are only a handful of the companies that have trained the model and made them available. Secondly, a lot of companies do not need these general purpose models that are out there. They need the models to be specialized in a particular domain, like for example, in legal, in medical, in financial matters, and so on. So anyone who is an expert in this niche is in a lot of demand, because fine-tuning is in itself huge engineering. It involves optimization in terms of latency, cost, scalability. There is so much that is involved in fine-tuning. It's a huge thing. So anyone who becomes an expert in this is in huge demand. And mind you, I'm not talking just about text-based models, by the way. I'm talking about multimodal models also. So I'm talking about any model that deals with images, video, audio. So this basically expands to all the sectors, from robotics to AR, VR, healthcare. Think of any sector out there, there is an opportunity. Our next domain is GPU engineering and acceleration, because yes, hardware is an extremely important part of any AI system. You all have seen the growth of NVIDIA, right? Why did that happen? Because AI workloads are what internally, guys? It's just very large matrix multiplications, and GPU help us with that. But GPUs are also extremely expensive, and that is why engineers who can understand the GPU architectures, who can design the GPUs for us, even those who can help us select the correct GPUs for the correct workload, are very valuable people. Like for example, if you did not know, there are different GPUs for different use cases, like data center GPUs are different than edge GPUs. So engineers need to be able to understand which GPU will be correct over here. Like for example, if they understand CUDA cores, tensor cores, and if they understand the use case. See, not every company needs the most expensive GPU out there, right? So they need to be able to see whether the core optimization is actually needed, right? How much bandwidth is needed, how much RAM is needed, and based on that, they can tell this is the GPU that we can use. And they also have to make sure that GPUs are not underutilized, because if you are underutilizing GPU even by 10-15%, that means you are wasting a lot of money. So making sure your GPUs are utilized, you are using the correct GPUs, and also if you need to use multiple GPUs together, then how are you doing that? So there is a lot of engineering involved around GPUs. The final domain that I want to talk about is data centers and energy. A lot of people do not realize the potential and the kind of opportunities that are there in this space. Have you heard of the news? Billions of dollars are being spent in India in AI data centers. See, every AI prompt that I send requires enormous amount of energy. And there are millions of users sending queries 24/7. So this is a new kind of engineering challenge. By the way, if you did not know, AI data centers are very different from the traditional data centers, right? So they require high density GPU racks. They require very advanced cooling systems. because GPUs produce a lot of heat. So if you have an efficient cooling system, that means you have better performance, you have better cost efficiency. In short, if you are an engineer who is interested in power management, energy utilization, or sustainability, this should definitely interest you. You should definitely explore this. There is a lot of engineering involved over here. You need good energy utilization, your backups, and there's a lot that is involved over here. This brings me to the end of the video. I hope you found it helpful and useful and hopeful, because I want you to be in demand rather than being scared in the future. So please let me know in the comments which domain you found the most interesting. So I would love to create more content on the topics related to that domain. And please do subscribe and share the content with your friends. It would mean so much to me. A lot of effort goes behind the videos that I create on the channel, especially the tutorials. There's a lot of high quality content that is there. So do check it out and see you next time. Bye.